Hello everyone, welcome to Skills Build Training YouTube channel. My name is Kamran and this channel is all about to show you how to become an IT pro really fast. In this video, I am going to talk about how to create a 3D game in Unity step by step. So without any further ado, let's get started. First of all, let's discuss that what is Unity and why we use it. Unity is a modern and popular game development platform. Thousands of the games are developed in Unity 3D. The Unity is developed by the Unity technologies and we can create the desktop based games, mobile games, iOS games, Android games, and the HTML5 games using the Unity. So this was the short introduction of Unity. Now let's talk about how we can download and install the Unity 3D. First of all, you have to open up your browser and then you have to visit this URL, that is unity3d.com/getunity/download. And here you can see that you have got two options. The first one is choose your Unity plus download, and the second one is download Unity Hub. The Unity Hub manages your projects and installation. By using the Unity Hub, you can install the multiple versions of Unity and you can maintain and manage your projects easily. So in order to download the Unity, you can either click on choose Unity plus download or you can click on download Unity Hub. So I'm going to click on choose your Unity plus download, and here you can see that you have got three options. You have got Unity for individual, for teams, for industrial and enterprise. So let's click on individual, and here we have the student option, the personal option. If you are a student and you want to learn the tools and workflows professional use on the job while developing the games using Unity, then you can sign up and you can use the Unity. And the other is personal. So if you are using the Unity for the personal purpose, you can click on it and you can then click on start and you will be able to get the Unity. Now let's go to teams, and we have three packages here: plus, pro, and enterprise. Now let's go to industrial and enterprise. You have got industrial collection and enterprise. So these are the different packages that you can use. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on get started and I'm going to download the Unity for personal use. So if you are the first time user, then you have to click here on start here button. You have to go through the terms and conditions of the Unity use, and if you are a returning user, then you have to click here on go here button. So if we click here on start here, you will see these terms. You have to read these terms and do not make more than 100k in annual gross revenues if you are using this Unity version. So if you earn more than the 100k annually, then you have to select any paid package of Unity. So then you have to click on agree and download, and it will download the Unity Hub setup exe file. So you have to save it. After that, you have to run it and the Unity will be installed in your system. But in my case, I have already installed the Unity version. So I will just click on my application menu, and this is my Unity application. So just click on it. So now you can create an empty project, and if you have any existing project, then you can open that project by clicking on open project. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an empty project. So you have to select the folder where you want to store this project, and then you have to click on select folder. I am using Unity on my Windows 10, but you can download the Unity on the Linux and the Mac operating system as well. Alright, so an empty project is created, and this is the Unity 3D dashboard. I'm going to give you a tour of this dashboard of Unity 3D. In Unity, we have multiple scenes. We develop our game in scenes, and when we create an empty project, we get a default scene. So this is by default scene. It is untitled, but if you want to save this scene, then you have to click on save scene and you have to give the name to this scene as well. So I'm going to give it a name, default scene, and I have saved it. In every scene, we get the main camera, which set the preview of our game, and we have the directional light. And here we have the hierarchy of the objects that we use in our game. So for example, if you have 100 of the game objects, all will be listed here. And on the right side, we have this inspector It shows the properties of the 3D objects, like we have the position, rotation, and scale of the project. Like I have selected the main camera. Now I can select the position of this main camera from here. I can select the rotation and I can select the scale value as well. You can change the position of and size of your inspector panel, your hierarchy panel. So if you have messed up with the layout, then you can go to Windows, you can select the layout, and this is the default layout. So if I click on it, I will get the default layout again. You can zoom in and zoom out the screen of your Unity through your mouse pad. In our Unity 3D game, we have multiple objects, and you can see that we have got an option here, that is game object. So from here we can include the empty objects in our game. We can create the 3D object, we can create the effect, light, audio, video, and UI. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a simple sphere here, and this is my 3D object. So if I want to change the position of it, I can change the position from here as well. So for the X, I'm going to write here 11, and you can see that the position on the X axis is changed. And similarly, you can change the position of Y axis and Z axis as well. And this is rotation. If you want to rotate your object on the X axis, you have to enter the value here. If you want to rotate your object on the y-axis, then you have to enter your value here. And if you want to rotate the object on the z-axis, then you can enter the value here as well. And this is the scale value. Like on x-axis, the scale is 1 by default, but you can enter the scale value and you can change the scale of your object as well. Moreover, we have got the mesh renderer, which render the 3D object, and it is the collider, and then we can add multiple properties to this object as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this object here, and I am going to create a cube. Go to the game object, select 3D object, and create a cube. And now we have this panel. By clicking here, you can set the position from here, and you can select the position in x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So if you want to rotate your object, you can click here, and now you can rotate your object like this. And if you want to increase or decrease the scale of your object, then you can use this option. By this 3D object of cube, I'm going to create a surface here. Alright, so this is my surface. This is my main camera. You can see that this is the preview. So I'm going to set the preview of this. So let me just change the position of my main camera. And alright, so now it looks fine. And you can see the preview in this little window here. Alright, so I have created a surface. Next, I'm going to create another cube object. This is my other cube, and the name of this is, for example, my cube. Alright, and it goes here. Okay. Alright, so this is the position of my cube here, and if I run my game, you will see that nothing will happen and the surface and the cube will remain there where they are set, and because we haven't applied any property on these objects. So if I run my game, in order to run your game, you simply have to click on this button and make sure that you do not do changes while your game is running, because the changes that you do at the runtime, they are not saved. So now you can see that nothing is happening, and the cube is in space, the surface is there, and nothing happens on these. We can apply the physics properties on our 3D objects. By applying the physics property, the gravity rule will be applied on this object, and when I will run my game, and you will see that the object will fall down. So first of all, let me just rename my cube. I have written the wrong spelling here, and I'm going to rename it with my cube. Alright, in order to add the physics property on this cube, you simply have to go to the right side of the panel. You have to click on add component. You can see this option here, and then you have to search for rigid body. This is the rigid body. You have to select it, and the physics rule is now applied on this object. So when I will run my game, you will see that this object will fall down. Alright, so let me just run my game. And you can see that the object has fall down. So this is because of the physics rules or the gravity rule. So if I click my cube object and I go here, you can see that this is the rigid body option, in which we have got the mass of the object, the mass is basically the weight of the object and it is 1. So if I increase the mass of my object and I make it 10 or 100 or 1000, the weight of the object will increase and it will take more time to come down to the earth. And then we have the drag and angular drag. So I'm not going to change the value of these, and I want to make it by default, which are 1, 0, and 0.05. I hope you got my point that what are the 3D objects and how you can apply the physics rules on these 3D objects. And if you want to copy these objects, you simply have to select this object and then you have to press Ctrl D. So we have created another object and the physics rule is also applied on this object because we have copied that object on which the physics properties were applied. And we have two cubes and it fell down. And then at the bottom of this Unity dashboard, we have got this panel, which is the assets panel. All of our assets are displayed here, like this is the default scene. And for example, if you want to give the color to your surface, then you can create the material for that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create an empty folder here for material. The name of this folder is material. If I open this folder, in order to create a material, I'm going to click on create, and here I have got this option which is material. So I'm going to create a material for my surface. By creating the material, you can add the color to your 3D objects. So once you have created the material, then go on the right side and you can see that we have got the option albedo color. Now you have to select the color for your surface and then you simply have to select your color and drag it to the surface, and you can see that the color is now added to the surface. And similarly, we can add this color to the cubes as well. It is always the good practice to make the folders for the relevant things. For example, I can create all type of material inside this folder and I will arrange all my materials here. And similarly, if you have any scripts to make in your Unity game, then you have to create a folder for scripts and you can manage your scripts inside this folder. Alright, so that was the basic introduction of Unity 3D. Now let's move on to our main topic, that is how to create a 3D game in Unity step by step. So the idea is that I'm going to create a very basic game in Unity 3D, that is the ball game. I will create a surface, I will create a ball, and then I will create different type of hurdles. So if your ball hit with the hurdle, then the game will be over. But the basic idea of the game is that your ball should not collide with the hurdle. If it collides with the hurdle, then the game will over. So this is a very basic game. I will explain it to you. So in that game, I will create multiple scripts. I will add controls to my 3D objects and I will explain it to you step by step. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete these extra objects, but we will need the surface, so it will remain here. So now I'm going to create a sphere. So simply you have to click on game object. You have to go to 3D object and select the sphere here. The name of this object is ball and it would be a ball. For this ball, I want to download a 3D model of football so that I can add the skin of the ball to this sphere. So simply go back to your browser and then you have to search for free 3D football model. So you can see that this is the 3D football model. It is free. So I'm going to simply click on it. And now you have to save this image. I'm going to save this image in the downloads folder. And the name of this image is football. So once you have downloaded it, then you have to go to the folder or directory where you downloaded it. And then you have to simply select it and drag it into your Unity project. So I'm going to drag it into the material folder because it is a type of material, and now select it and drag it on the ball. Alright, so the skin is added on my ball. So now the next step is to apply the physics rule or physics properties. So click on add component, select the rigid body, and the physics properties are applied on this ball. Alright, so let's run my game again. Alright, so you can see that the physics property is applied successfully. So now the next step is to create a C# script and give control to this ball so that we can control our ball through the arrow keys. So I'm going to select my script folder and here I'm going to create a new script. And this is the C# script and the name of this script is ball control. Alright, so the script is created successfully. Now you have to double click on it and it will be opened in Visual Studio. Alright, so now you can see that my script is opened in Visual Studio, and one thing that you have to make sure, the name of this class should be exactly same with your script name. Otherwise it will show an error. In this script we have got two methods by default. The first method is void start and the other method is void update. Start method is called before the first frame update and the update method is called once per frame. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create some variables that I will use in this script. The first variable is private rigid body and the name of the variable is ball. Because we have applied the rigid body component on the ball, we will get that component and we will store it in the ball variable, and then we will control the position, or you can say that the action of the ball. The next variable that I'm going to create is a speed variable and it is of float type speed. And the next variable is a private float direction x, because we have to change the direction of our ball as well. Therefore I have created these three variables. In the start function or method, I'm going to initialize these variables. For example, ball is equal to get component rigid body. It will get the rigid body component of the ball. And then I have the speed variable, which is equal to 3f. So the speed of the ball will be 3 when I will control this ball through my arrow keys. And then we have to come to the update function, which will be called once per frame. So in this function, I'm going to declare my direction x variable, which is equal to input dot get axis horizontal. So we are basically getting the value of the horizontal axis and we are going to store it into the direction x variable. And then I am going to multiply it with the speed. So first of all, it will get the horizontal axis, then it will multiply it to the speed. And it will look like that our ball is moving. For example, if the value of the axis is 3, and if we press the key and we move the ball, then it will be multiplied with 3 multiplied by 3, it will be 9, and we will see that our ball is moving. So for moving the ball, we have to set the velocity of the ball. So ball dot velocity, which is equal to new vector 3, and inside this vector 3 we have to set the direction x, we have to set the velocity of the ball dot y. I hope you got my point. So this is the simple script. I'm going to save it, and now let's go back to our Unity. It is compiling my script. The script is compiled and we have got no error. So you have to simply select your script and drag it on the ball. So script is now added on the ball. If I run my game, you will see that I will be able to control the position of the ball on the x-axis. And now you can see that I can control the position of the ball or move of the ball on the x-axis, right? Alright, so as we have created the ball and the control is added to this ball, so next what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my enemy, you can say, or hurdle, from which we have to save this ball. In order to create the enemy, you have to click on game object, go to the 3D object and select the cube. And the name of this is, for example, hurdle. Alright, let me just set the position of this. And it is on the z-axis here. Alright. And let me just change the scale of this surface as well. And now our surface looks big. Next, we have to create a prefab folder in our assets, and we will save our hurdle object there. The prefabs are a special type of component. It allows fully configured game object to be saved in the project for reuse. As we have to create the multiple hurdles at the same time, so therefore I have created a prefab folder and I have stored my hurdle there. Now the next step is to animate this object so that we see like this object is like moving towards us. So in order to do that, I need to create a new script here. So let's create a C# script and the name of that script will be animate, for example, animate script. And now let's open this animate script. Alright, so now my script is opened in the Visual Studio, and I am going to add my script here, and then I will explain it to you that how it is working. In order to animate it, we have to use the transform.translate function, and it will move the object in a word space in a specific direction in 1 unit per second. So first of all, I am going to create a variable here that is private speed, which is equal to, for example, 4, and the type of this variable is float, and it is equal to float speed, which is equal to 4. So now inside the transform.translate, we have vector 3, and we have to move this object in the backward direction. So I have selected back here. Then we have time.delta time multiply by speed. So it will ensure that our object move in the backward direction in the speed 4 in the smooth way. So this is basically the purpose of this script. So let me just save this script. Now let's go back to our Unity, and now let's select this script and drag it onto the hurdle. Now the script is added here, and let me just add the rigid body component on this object, and now let's run this game. Alright, so now you will see that the cube is moving in the backward direction, right? So we have added the animation on our hurdle successfully. And now the next step is to create the multiple hurdles on the random position. And for this purpose, we will use the spawning. Spawning is used to instantiate the objects on the random position. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an empty object here, and I am going to give it a name spawn. Now in order to create the multiple hurdles on the random position, we need to create another script. So let's create another script here, which is spawn hurdle. And now let's open this script. I am going to copy my script here that I have written previously, and I will explain it to you line by line. So first of all, we have created multiple variables here. The first variable is equal to game object, and the name of that object is enemy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename it with hurdle, because we have to get the hurdle and then we have to instantiate it on the random position. And then we have a new vector 3 variable here, which is a hurdle pause variable, and it is the position of our hurdle, like on which position we want to create our hurdles. And then we have a timer variable, and then we have a delay variable whose value is equal to 1f. So when the game will start, inside the start function, we have the timer, which is equal to delay, and I will tell you at the end of this script that what is the purpose of this. Then we have the update function, and inside the update function, I am calling a new function which is enemy span. And here you can see that the timer negative is equal to time.delta time. The delta time is the completion time in seconds since the last frame. So when we have animated our first hurdle, then we have to minus our time and we have to go to the next hurdle. And if the timer is less than or equal to 0, and then what we have to do, we have to set the position of our hurdle here. So I'm going to rename it like hurdle pause, which is equal to new vector 3. So we have random dot range minus 6f to 6f. So basically it is the range, or you can say that it is the position of the y-axis and z-axis. So on this position, we will create our random hurdles. The position of y is minus 6 and the position of z is 6. And then we have the instantiate function. It will basically create the new hurdles. So it will take the hurdle as an object. Then it will have the position of the hurdle, and it will initiate the new hurdles. And then we have the quaternion dot identity, and a quaternion is a representation of a vector and a rotation around the vector. And then we are setting the timer, which is equal to delay. So at the end, the timer will be equal to delay, and the value of the timer will be 1 again. And when the timer is equal to delay and the timer value is equal to 1, it will create the new hurdle and it will go on. We are back to Unity. So now you simply have to select this script and drag it on this object that is span. And now you have to select this object And you can see that the script is attached here. And now we have to select the hurdle object that we have created in our script. And this is hurdle. So if I run my game again, you will see that it will create multiple objects at the random position. And you can see that it is creating the multiple objects, but I have to set the position of it. So let's close it, and I'm going to set the position here. Alright, so now let's run our game again. I have set the position. Alright, so I have set the position. I have executed my game again. So now you can see that the hurdles are created here, and this is our ball. But if it collides with the ball, nothing happens. So now what we have to do, we have to create another script in which we have to detect the collision. If our ball collides with the hurdle, then the game should over or it should stop the game. So I'm going to create a new script here which is equal to collision detection. Alright, so our script is created successfully, and next we have to create a tag on this hurdle so that we will be able to get this hurdle inside our script. So you simply have to go here, then you have to click on add tag, click on this plus button and write the name of your tag, which is hurdle. So by the name of this object, we cannot get this object inside the script, but due to the tag, we will be able to get this hurdle. And I have assigned hurdle tag to this object. Now let's go to our script. I have written my script. I'm going to explain it to you. In Unity, we have a function that is onCollisionEnter, and it detects that if the object collide with the other object or not. And inside this function, we have collision variable of type collision. So then we have the if condition, if collision dot collider dot tag is equal to hurdle. If something collides with our hurdle, then what it will do, it will set the Unity editor playing is equal to false. It will end our game. So the idea is that when our hurdle will touch the ball, it will end our game. And this is what we have implemented inside the if condition. If collision dot collider dot tag is equal to hurdle. So if the collision occurs and it occurs with the hurdle, then it will close the game. Alright, so let me just save this script. And now we have to select this collision detection script and we have to drag it on the hurdle. And you can see that the collision detection script is now attached to the hurdle. Alright, so let's run our game. So now we have to avoid these hurdles. But if we collide with this hurdle, the game will over. And you can see that the game is over and it has set the playing mode is equal to false. So this is the idea of creating a very basic game in Unity 3D step by step. In this game, we have used almost all the essential concepts that are very important to create a game in Unity. Like we have used animations, we have used spawning, we have added control to our ball, we animated our hurdle, and we created the surface material. So that's it for this video. If you have any feedback about this video, then let us know about your feedback in the comment section. If you have not subscribed to our channel, then please do so by clicking on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. If you really like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.